national Grenadian. The man is as legit as it gets, and we'll be speaking to us about inside of Montreal, Canada, and we'll be talking about Spice Isle Cultural Festival. Spice Isle Cultural Festival. We'll be talking about the initiative, what it is, what are we hoping to achieve, and certainly it is always a pleasure when we can link up with our Grenadian brothers and sisters in the diaspora, because every day we talk about what's happening in the diaspora. And I want to say good morning to you, Mr. Cameron. How are you?
Well, good morning to you and good morning to Grenada. I'm pretty cool for now, brother.
Well, you're inside of Montreal. I would assume pretty cool. How's life? How's life in Montreal?
Well, it's pretty normal for now. We've been through the pandemic and we're getting out of it now, so it's slowly getting back to normal here.
Slowly getting back to normal. And it's always a pleasure when we say that I'm speaking to a son of the soil. So that, because of course we're going to be talking about that initiative that we have coming up in just a bit. But talk to us. You're a man from Big Parish, aren't you?
Yes, I'm from St. Andrews. I'm actually from Harford Village.
Well, so talk to me. Maybe before we get started, you may want to take some time to shout out a few of your old party wows, because we're coming across on all of the platforms right now: radio, television, Facebook, YouTube.
Well, it's a good opportunity for me because my mom's birthday is actually on Sunday. So the first person I would like to send a really heartfelt shout out to is one of the most important persons in my life, my mom. So her name is Maureen Cameron, and I would like to wish her a really, really heartfelt, pleasant, happy birthday. I have a few old friends in Grenada that we went to school together, a couple of them that I hang out with, like Scrapey in Harford Village and Metal. Those are my bona fide.
Right.
And I have a couple friends in the police force, like Doyle Stanislaus is my bona fide brother also, T.T. Hazard, just to name a few, couple of Calypsonians like Beast, Squeezy, Scholar,
Okay. Yeah. You're a known man. You are a known man. But today you'll be speaking to us in your capacity as president of the Spice Isle Cultural Festival. Let's talk about the Spice Isle Cultural Festival. Let's talk about the initiative. What is it? And then we get into some of the specifics, the date and time. What is it exactly you're hoping to achieve? Spice Isle Cultural Festival. Who are you? What do you do? Why do you do what you do?
Okay. The Spice Isle Cultural Day Association of Quebec. That's the official name, where we put on the Spice Isle Cultural Festival. The name would indicate for you and people who know that Spice Isle represent Grenada, Carriacou, Petite Martinique. So this is an organization that was formed 4 years ago. And the idea behind it is really to promote Grenada in the different aspects. For example, we started off by promoting basically culture. That was the initial starting. Now we move on a little bit further, so we're producing culture, we're promoting food, we're promoting fashion also, and we're showcasing all of these things. Ours is a festival that is normally held on the outdoors, where we attract maybe 5,000 plus people. In our first year, it was really good. The second year got better. Last year, we had to do it virtually because of the COVID.
Right.
And because of the COVID situation, we're still in this situation, doing it virtually this year again. But it's an initiative mainly to promote Grenada and everything Grenadian in North America here, especially in Canada.
Yes. And everything to promote all things Grenadian: food, culture,
everything
fashion,
Grenadian.
Everything Grenada. You said, of course, we all have to deal with now that COVID is here, and it's important that we accept the realities of COVID. And I'm happy that as an association, that while you appreciate the challenge of COVID, you also appreciate the need to maintain that cultural vibration, the energy of all things Grenada. So this year is going to be different in the context that it is virtual, but I'm assuming in terms of the content, the excitement, and the different elements, there isn't going to be any shortage of anything, is there?
Definitely not. Actually, this is the second time we're doing it virtual. As I explained, we did it last year virtual, and we learned a lot from last activity. So this year we are even much more organized. We have a very good setup. and we have a lot more activities. Actually, the theme this year is celebrating life, and we chose that theme because of the situation with COVID, having lost so much people, friends and families and everybody else. And now that we've seen a little light at the end of the tunnel, we chose this particular theme for our activity this year. And it wouldn't be much. Last year we had more than 30,000 people because we were able to link with different domains in London, in different places, who broadcasted throughout for us. And this year we're even more organized, as I said before. So we are expecting a larger audience this year. Yes.
Give us appreciation, because of course these virtual exercises, while it's becoming the order of the day, sometimes we have to be able to adjust to it. So you said there is the food, the culture, the calypso, the fashion. Give us an appreciation as to exactly how the festival is going to roll out this year.
Well, we did a lot of we're gonna have most of the activities is gonna be pre-taped. Most of the activities. So we have a program. We're gonna start the program with an address by the Prime Minister of Grenada and the Prime Minister of Canada. We have the Grenada Police Force Band that's gonna play both national anthems for us.
Okay.
We have live artists. We had performances from Beast, Scholar, and Squeezy, done by the Grenada Force Police Band, backed up by the band. We have the Tivoli drummers. We have Carrico String Band. We have local artists. We have chefs. So this is the format that we take in this year. And we happen to be so fortunate that we met one guy. Grenada is such a unique place. It's highly unique, Grenada, because we ran into a guy who happened to spend a little while in Grenada. This guy is a technical individual. And because of the way Grenadians treated him, he felt he's a Grenadian now. That's his feeling. He said he was baptized in Livera, and he's a Grenadian, and he's our technical director right now, and he's the one who is helping us throughout all that we are doing. We couldn't ask for better. So Grenada is coming through in all different forms, Yes.
Let's talk about the timeline. Is it set for next month? Give us appreciation as to exactly. So we started with the address by both prime ministers, and
yes,
give us an appreciation as to how the event is going to unfold in terms of the timeline.
Well, after the event of the prime, it's a 4-hour festival.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's a 4-hour activity. So we have 3 artists, local artists from Grenada. We have everything spaced out within the hours.
Okay.
So the first thing we will have is the Prime Minister of Grenada doing his national address. We'll also have the first thing we'll have is a national anthem by both countries, played by the Grenada Police Force Band.
Right.
Then we'll have our Prime Minister do his first address. The Prime Minister of Canada will do his address. After that, we'll follow all the activities. We'll have all the different acts. We have local activities. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but everything has been prepared, and we go right along until we get to the culmination, to the end, which we end with a half-an-hour party scene, basically.
4 hours of all things Grenadian, 4 hours of fun, excitement, energy, food, culture. Why is it important, though? Mr. Cameron, why is it important that for a man as yourself, and later we're going to get into it because you have some deep cultural roots, and we're going to talk about that because a lot of people, they probably wonder, well, Byron, I mean, what does this man know about culture? But you and I know that you're deep into the culture, calypso, music and everything. But why is it important for individuals as yourself, other Grenadians, to ensure that spirit of Grenadianism, as you call it, it lives on, while even over in Canada?
Well, we live in a really large multicultural society, right? And we have people from, you could find people from all over the world in this one city that I live in here. And it's very important. The government here also encouraged that.
Okay.
So it's very important to showcase what it is that we present in Grenada. You know, because every other cultural nation has their activity. You know, you have Trinidad Day, you have Jamaica Day, you have the Philippines activity, you have the Greek Canadian activity, and so on. You know, so we in that capacity is basically showcasing what is ours in a diverse society like Canada, being all Canadians from different nationality. The government encourages us to showcase what is ours. And a group of us here had seized that initiative, and so far I can tell you it has been very wonderful. I mean, the job that we have been doing has been really, really well done. We have a good team, good unity among us, and pretty much organized.
We're going to talk about the team, but literally it is what you can safely say is diversity through inclusion, because you say the government supports it wholeheartedly, 100%.
Yes, they do. Actually, when we have it on the outdoors, we even now we get funding from the city, but we don't get this funding that we have for the virtual program as we get for the outdoor program.
Right.
You know, because it's indoor, it's a more confined program, so we get not much funding. But when we go outdoors, we get help from the city, we get from the borough, and we have a lot of support from Grenada too, mind you. Because we have support from the Grenada Cultural Foundation. We also have support from the Grenada Tourism Authority. And we have support from a number of entities like the Cayuba Hotel and stuff like that, you know? Yes. So that's where we are.
Sounds rather excited. You were the president. Let's talk about your presidency, the team that's with you, that works along with you, and then we're gonna talk about you yourself, a man from the big parish. You've been singing at a very, very, very early age, and in Montreal, you have some titles under your belt as well.
Well, yeah, you could say that. You know, because I've won a couple of Calypso Monarch competitions in Montreal. Here, actually 3, you know.
Right.
I would say I kind of changed the style of Calypso here too when I got into Montreal, and you know, from that we took off. We formed our organization, Montreal Calypso Association, you know, which I was an integral part of, which we still exist today, and that we're talking about almost 30 years ago, you know, and then we took. With the help of some other people, we took Calypso in a different direction here in the city.
When you say in a different direction, what exactly do you mean?
In a more positive direction, in a more audience. It wasn't something that was we never had much audience, you know. So people became a lot more interested in what we were doing, and then we started to have bigger audiences as sponsors and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that you make that point. But while you are there, we just stop. It is 18 minutes gone past the hour, and I'm speaking here with Mr. Byron Cameron, sorry. And of course, he's the president of the Spice Isle Cultural Association. We're talking about the Spice Isle Cultural Festival over in Montreal, Canada. And that festival is a 4-hour packed program. What's the date of that event, sir?
What our organization does?
I was asking, what is the date for the event, the festival?
The date is on the 10th of July.
It's the 10th of July. So we talking about just little under a month away. It's a 4-hour program. And of course, you've partnered with the GBN to ensure that we promote and keep it alive. But we're going to get into that before we go. But we are just talking about the fact that, and you're highlighting the fact that you've gone to Canada, you've won a couple titles in Canada, and you've attempted, and not just attempted, you've been changing the status quo of Calypso over in Canada. And it's interesting that you're saying that, because here at home there's often those who seem to think that Calypso, traditional Calypso as it is, some maybe have they're saying that they've cited that maybe the interest is lost a bit, but you're saying it's all good news. Over in Canada, you've taken it to a different direction and a different level.
Yes, not only in Montreal, but in Toronto also. Because I also participate in Toronto, and I was there 2 years ago. And I mean, we had an audience on the harbour front, maybe about, 5,000-6,000 people just to hear Calypso music. I did a few shows in Ontario, and we had hundreds of people, you know. So, And we kind of stay true to the roots calypso also. In Montreal here, we have some of the older guys who stay true to the roots of calypso, and yeah, it's been a transition. It's been a transition from where it was to where it is today.
But what do you think, though? What do you think, if you can? I know you're not necessarily an expert. I don't assume that you're an expert. But I mean, as a veteran of the art form, a local, a Grenadian, a man that is deeply involved in the art form, what do you think that can be done that we can learn from here at home to ensure the continuation and the survival of calypso as we know it in its traditional form?
Well, I was listening to a program recently, but it was really about reggae music. And this lady called Miss Ching Pat Chin. She said that reggae music, when she listened to reggae music earlier on, it was like reading a newspaper. Okay. And I see calypso, real calypso, in that same vein. It's like informative, educational, bringing you up to date. This is what the real authentic calypso is, and this is what we're really missing. I've been coming to Grenada for many, many years, and I think we miss the authenticity in terms of being the newspaper, in terms of being the voice, the people's voice, and I think we hold, because today what you find, and I have no problem with it, we have the soca, the power soca, which is the more dominant form of the art form today.
Right.
But to me, it doesn't really say much in terms of educating, It's more basically entertainment. But we need education too, and information. And this is where, if we get calypso maybe on that part again, it might be able to go forward, As I remember a few years ago, Jamu singing a song, and he said that if you lost your contact lens in the stadium, you could get it before the calypso show finished, because there is hardly anybody there. And we've seen the deterioration over the years. So I think it's because we don't stay true to the form, to the message. And I think that's what it is.
And that, in your mind, is a failure of society on the whole, or is it just the artists, or a combination of both?
Well, I would say it's a combination of both, because when I went to school and thing, we used to do poetry and composition and stuff like that, So you learn to write and grammar and stuff like that. I don't think the society, to me, things become more commercialized now. It becomes more commercialized. So it becomes more like a business, So the conscious part of it doesn't say much. It doesn't appeal much to the businessman, And then you have the younger artists who growing up in this vein now. So if we don't make drastic changes from the top and try to motivate the artists, then we might lose the real calypso structure as it is. I remember before I traveled, I think it was Senator who was the president of the Grenada Calypso Association at that time. That was in the 80s. And we used to have workshops with artists from Trinidad. I remember going to workshop with Delano and people like that,
Right.
And we do workshops on calypso and writing calypso and stuff like that. Maybe we would have to resort back to things like that, Yes, maybe all in the schools. We might have to go to the schools now.
But it's interesting that you say that, because I mean, I know, not necessarily defending anybody, and I know the different associations, you have different workshops that they have. I know even at the school level, there are a lot of local private entities who've actually, one of the local credit unions, they actually have an annual calypso competition where they go into the schools. So there are those who would argue that much, much more is being invested into it. But for some reason, maybe there is a shift, maybe. But what do you think, though? Some have argued that the failure resides in the media, in maybe the media not promoting calypso as it is. What say you, though? Because I'm saying that in the context that you've partnered with the GBN to ensure that your festival is seen at home. So you appreciate the role of the media, but let's talk about the role of the media overall, and what you think, maybe where you think we may have failed.
I wouldn't say that the media has failed. No. What I noticed over the years is that we have had a lot of different. When I was in Grenada, we had maybe 2 radio stations or one. I don't maybe 1 or 2. But over the years, if you notice, the commercial radio has grown a lot, right?
Right.
And one of the things that I believe is that we don't have qualified individuals in radio. That's what I believe. I don't believe we have qualified individuals. So we put maybe people who have little background and things like that. And then it's young people too. So they get carried away. And they don't really do research much. This is where media, being trained in media is important, because you need to do your research, Before you get on the air, put on your microphone, you need to do a research, and then you know where you're coming from. So I don't think much research has been done in the art form. I really don't think so. And then we have young people involved with the evolution of the music. But I wouldn't blame the media. I wouldn't say that the media is responsible solely for that. I wouldn't say that. But we all have a part to play, Every single one of us. And to me, the more adult people, the ones in authority, these are the people who should really seize the initiative. And I would say again, maybe start with the school, Yes, I would say that again. Because that's where we need to start, That's where we need to start motivating the younger generation. So maybe 20 years from now, we would take another turn in a more positive direction.
Taking a turn in a more positive direction, of course, Grenada has a man, Byron Cameron. He is the president of the Spice Isle Cultural Festival, that's community association in Canada. And we're here talking about the festival, which is set for the 10th of July, just under a month, Mr. Cameron, and we've been highlighting the fact that it is going to be a 4-hour packed program that would highlight non-stop, that would highlight and promote all things Grenadian, culture, clothing, food, just name it.
Yes, everything Grenadian will be promoted. That's what we do, That's what we do here. And I say we have a very good team, all Grenadians. Our team is made up of all Grenadians. And we have Grenadians who've been living here for over 50 years, being part of the team. Most of us been here for over 30 years.
Right.
Yes, most of the people that involved. But something, we never really lose the root. Right. Grenadians always consider themselves getting ready to go home. Grenada is always home. You hardly ever, never hear Grenadians speak about any other place as home but Grenada. So it's a deep-rooted feeling inside us. It's a deep-rooted love for that island. And that's why we do what we do, Yes.
It's why you do what you do. Let's talk about some of the other persons. You're the president. Let's talk about some of the immediate team members, the vice president, and the other immediate people around you. While I know you have your tentacles stretched all over Canada, but there's a core team that works with you. Can we talk about them?
Yes, it's a core team, and it's a really good team. We have a lady, one woman from St. Patrick's. Her name is Gemma Rayburn Baines. I mean, she's one of the most dynamic person on the team. I said, and we give her a lot of credit because most of the job is being done by her. We have another very good sister named Karen Park. She's from St. George's, Montjalou. She is our treasurer. Mm-hmm. Excellent person. We have a sister from St. Patrick's. Her name is Kathy Ann Stanislaus. She's our secretary. And we have another sister from St. George's. Her name is Kathy Olivier. She's our entertainment person, the one who coordinates all the entertainment vibes for us. Mm-hmm. And then we have other executive members from St. Pat, from WAV, Olga Jerome. We have a man from Edmonton. His name is John Cruikshank. He used to be a school teacher. I mean, these people living here for a long time, So we have a very good team, all Grenadians, everybody committed, and we all are working. We've been working on this program, since January.
Nice. I'm getting the sense, though, because you speak with so much passion and pride as to the role and involvement of the different committee members. But I get the sense that, that while roles and leadership role evolved, so for example, you had Mr. Blaze, who was the first president, but he now serves as a consultant. So while he's no longer the president, he still is actively involved. So you keep the experience inside.
Yes, well, Mr. Blaze, and I forget to mention him too, but he's more than just he's also our representative here. He's the honorary consul to Grenada here in Quebec. Yes, and he is a really, really integral part of our organization. Mr. Blaze is one of the links that hold us tight together. I mean, this brother does everything within his capacity to help this organization. We all do, but some people shoulder more burden than others. He's one that carry a heavy load too. Yes, and my hat's off to Mr. Blaze also. And by the way, he just lost his sister recently, So
our condolences.
Sympathy goes out to him also as we speak, yes.
I'm getting the sense, Mr. Cameron, that there's this, and you hinted to it, that strong overarching sense of pride that those of you, while you would have migrated, you've gone to another part of the world, the diaspora, as we refer to it. But there's that overarching, beaming sense of pride, that sense of Grenadianism, spirit to the homeland, that is quite evident where you are. Some sort of argument.
Go ahead.
Right, but and I can feel it exuding from you. But sometimes you hear the argument that they say that sometimes you get Grenadians on the outside that seem more patriotic and committed to development than those of us that are here. We seem to take things for granted.
Well, maybe it's because, I always say that again, when you're home, you're more complacent. You know what I'm saying? When you're home, you're more complacent. Because I feel the same way sometimes I see Canadian people, nationals here, who act the same way like Grenadian national because they're home.
Right.
So when you come here now, like people like me, my home is Grenada. So I'm going to observe everything that's taking place around me. I'm going to pay attention to everything that's happening around me. And this gives me a different view, and you got to work harder too, man. You hear me?
Right.
You got to work harder. You learn to appreciate things more. Maybe we are a little bit too laid back in the island and stuff like that. But I don't feel the people are not patriotic.
Okay.
I don't think they're not. I think every Grenadian is patriotic. And if you want to see it, brother, you got to come out here to see. And I have a song that I wrote called Diaspora Calling, and I said that in any event, you're sure to find a Grenada flag. Any event you go.
What's the name of that song?
Huh?
You said there's a song that you wrote. What's the name of the song?
The song is called Diaspora Calling. The Diaspora Calling, yeah.
Well, I mean, you talk about that. I mean, I'll give you a couple minutes to get your thoughts together because you're going to be remiss of me if we end this conversation and don't get an opportunity for you to share your voice with each other. But is there the valid point that you make, though, that as you said, you never miss home, you never appreciate. They hear this saying that the king has no honor in his country.
Exactly,
and you sometimes never seem to recognize the beauty of what is yours until you travel.
It's true. Because I'm going to tell you something, man. Where I'm sitting here right now, even though outside is hot, I'm already starting to dread winter.
Oh, right.
You understand me? Even though it's hot right now, it's going to get hotter. But deep inside, you start to dread winter. Because it's 5 or 6 months of intense cold. And I mean, I talk about cold, I talk about serious cold, So when you look at winter, you get to appreciate Grenada even more.
Warm tropical sunshine all year long.
You're gonna pay $6 for one breadfruit, right? That's about $12 Grenadian. You're gonna pay $1.50 or $3 for a coconut. You're gonna pay $3 for a bunch of callaloo with about 6 leaves in it that come out on the outside of the callaloo. Even you put it in the pressure cooker, it's still not callaloo. So when you see all of these things here, you're gonna pay $6 for 2 Julie mango.
It makes you want to come home.
Exactly. So when you come out here now and you see these kind of things, you get to appreciate, because I could take people below any mango tree in Grenada now, and it have maybe 500 mango trees growing that fall and waste every mango tree.
True.
So these little things like that make you appreciate where you come from even more, you know. And Grenada, we don't, I would say honestly, brother, compared to other places in this world, we don't have much problem in Grenada.
That is true. That is true. That is true.
We really don't have much problem in Grenada. I know people right now that will trade their place for Grenada.
Any day.
Any minute, you know.
The things we take for granted.
It's not in too much a bad situation. We just maybe need to unite a little bit more and move in a different direction. Because, you know, unity is strength too, you know. And we only have 100,000 people. We all just family, man.
We all just family. And it's important. It's interesting that we're so small, but yet, I mean, history by itself has highlighted the fact that we can be so divided in so many ways. But the reality is that the quicker we come together, it serves not just for our personal interest, but our interest collectively.
General interest, yes. National interest.
National interest. And that's what it should be.
That's how I look at it, you know. Because I see myself as a Grenadian, and I see Grenadian as us. As us, yes, personally.
I know you probably wish you were home now, because everything is season, cashew now. You can. Well, last you had a good sapodilla, boy.
Man, watch. You won't believe I have a sapodilla tree in my mother backyard, the hurricane breaking down. I came after Ivan. I've walked on that sapodilla tree for years, man. And right now it's behind sapodilla, but people stealing it. Because the old lady can't go in the bush, and that's a problem that we have, you know. But I have sapodilla. But here, you know, sapodilla here, man. That's crunk money, man.
Crunk money, and we have it here.
Hardly see it, but when it's available, it's big money for sapodilla.
And in Grenada, we have it, as they say, lap and cut.
All that make me miss home, you know. I come to Grenada many times, and I stop in the road to pick up mango on my way home. Because I just can't pass it. I just stop. Let me get to mangoes.
You stop to pick up mangoes?
Yep.
I don't even think I even bother with that. I ain't stopping to pick up mango nowhere in Grenada.
I stop and pick up mango in the road, because I just come and mango all over the place. I'm jonesing for mango so bad.
The things we take for granted, Byron?
Yep. The small things, man. Small things are important.
And it's those very little things that, after all is said and done, that's what's important in life, you know. Sometimes we make a fuss over the wrong set of things, but then you realize your ability just to wake up in the morning, you go you get a breadfruit somewhere, you got a 2 coconut, you buy a piece of saltfish, you dig a piece of yam, and you're good to go. You pick 2 limes, get some lime juice.
You know, it's simple, because we make a lot of fuss. You know, I planning to come to Grenada, hoping that I could come down in December, because I was going to come last year, but because of the COVID, you know,
right,
we are under restriction. Now, so far, I've had 1 vaccine, and that's another thing too, because I took the vaccine, and I would encourage people to take the vaccine also, you know. I have a lot of friends out there who kind of reluctant, and I would encourage everyone to take that vaccine, because that might be our passport to the future, you know. Yes.
It may just be our passport to the future, because the reality with COVID is not going anywhere.
Man, it ain't going nowhere, I can tell you. And in Grenada, we complacent because we haven't seen anything, man. We haven't seen nothing out there. You have to be living out here to see the situation in the hospitals and on the streets and everything, man. You had to be here to see, because we have a larger population, you know, and it's spread like wildfire.
And it's probably a good opportunity to openly say, because I mean the reality is that our health officials, they've done an excellent job, a really excellent job. Is it perfect? It would never be perfect, but they've done a really excellent job at ensuring.
I think so.
From then to now, last year to now, from March, 161 cases. 161 cases. We've had only 1 death related to COVID. When you hear the numbers, the startling numbers, increasing numbers in neighboring Trinidad and different parts of the region, it makes you realize. Even St. Vincent.
Yeah.
It makes you realize, Byron, in truth and fact, there is no place sweeter than home.
No place sweeter than home, man. No place sweeter than Grenada. Not home, not just home, but Grenada, man.
Well, for us, Grenada is always going to be home. It doesn't matter where we go.
Always home to me, man.
Always going to be home. Grenada, that's the man Byron Campbell from Other Big Parish. The man, of course, some of you know as the doggies, you know, being outside of there, plying his trade, doing what you do. We're basically talking about the Spice Out Cultural Festival. That is going to be broadcast live on GBN television, and that's on the 10th of July, just under a month, because today is the 4th, and so it's just under a month away. And let's talk about that partnership and what can we expect. I'm assuming, Byron, from then until now, we'll be doing a number of these different engagements to promote, push, and remind Grenadians that the Spice Cultural Festival out there in Canada, it's alive and well.
Well, I tell you, we really appreciate everything that has been done for us by GBN, honestly. Because I know the sister, actually, Janelle, yeah.
Yes.
And my brother I have two nieces that are Janelle's sister. You know,
right?
And I really want to take my hat off to GBN for accepting us and giving us this platform. We really needed it, you know. We really needed that platform, and the objective is to really reach out to Grenadians also, not only in the diaspora but also Grenadians at home, you know. So this way, I mean, we really appreciate GBN and what they're doing for us.
And we certainly appreciate the partnership. And of course, certainly as a national station, we understand our role and as you said, collectively, you have your role to play. We have our role to play.
Exactly.
Before we run though, because you talk about Grenadians here at home, how can somebody reach out to you? If somebody's interested maybe in just reaching out to you, maybe they're at home, but they want to get involved, maybe not for this year, but for next year, being part of the festival, they may have ideas, suggestion. Can they do that?
We have two web pages. We have our Facebook page, which is the Spice Out Cultural Association of Quebec. And we also have a YouTube channel with the same domain where we have all our information. Now, if anybody want to reach to me personally, I could give you my email address, or I could, you know.
Sure.
My email address is anthonydog@hotmail.com.
So Anthony Dog
at hotmail.com.
At hotmail.com. That's the man, Anthony Dog at hotmail.com. The man, Byron Cameron, out of the big parish. The man that's missing home. Hopefully, I'm hoping that when you do get a chance to come home in December, the good Lord's willing, maybe you guys...
Well, you know, I used to come home every year, you know.
Right.
Because I started singing Calypso with Moss International, you hear me?
That was... the great old Moss, eh?
MC and these guys and them, Darius and African Teller, you know?
The old guns.
And yes, so and after that I would come home every year and perform with the Cap Band Kaiso Bards. That was with Scholar and Beast and them, you know?
Right.
But for a number of years, I've been coming all the time still, but the Calypso, as I said again, the culture went downhill, you know? It from the time I started coming back to now, it took a big nosedive, right? And one of the things that I noticed too, and you know, I say maybe if I'm in Grenada, I would try to put back a little group together that would work, because you need to do things by yourself. So a lot of the artists sit and wait on seed money, government handout and stuff like that. And then you have 300 days to promote yourself and do things. I believe if the artists, because you know the 10th format, the Calypso 10th format was one of the things that used to attract a lot of people when we were singing back home.
Correct.
Today you have 110 show, which is basically the qualifying show for semi-final.
And that's it.
It doesn't make no sense, you know. So we need to work on all of these things and, take them to a different level. And that's what we did in Montreal here. We had tents, man. We moved from place to place. We go to different restaurants, we go to schools and bring it to different people because, yes.
Indeed, one of the soca acts say you have to take it to them. Indeed, we have to take the Kaiso to them.
You have to take it to the people.
You have to take it to the people.
You have to take it to
15 minutes onto the hour of 12 o'clock. My guest here is Byron Cameron, and president of the Spice Isle Cultural Day Association of Quebec. And we're just talking about Spice Isle Cultural Festival. That's going to be broadcast live on the GBN. And that's on the 10th of July, just a month away, and it promises, as Byron says, to be a 4-hour packed televised event being broadcast remotely, something pre-packaged for us, but it's going to be highlighted and promoted all things Grenadian, all things culture, all things entertainment, the lifestyle, the way and life of us, the Grenadian people. Byron, appreciate it. I'm hoping before the festival comes and goes that you and I, maybe we'll continue to have this we know how to link up with each other. We continue, I promise you, to have this conversation, and maybe it's time we get a chance to interact with other members of in the diaspora as time goes on.
Sure, most definitely, I just want to say a shout out to some people in Grenada who've been, there was a sister by the name of Trisha Grant. She's one of the people who's going to be showcasing. We're going to be showcasing her costumes, her design. We also have a sister by the name of Antonia Hamid. We'll be also showcasing her designs. We have people in Grenadians in Montreal here. A sister from St. John's by the name of Angela Alexis. We'll be showcasing her designs. So we have chefs from Grenada. We cook in oil down. We had Blazer. You know Blazer, right?
Sharpen like a razor.
Yeah. So he did something for us. So all that's going to be done. He did something up in Mongrel last Sunday that was recorded with the Tivoli drummers and the oil down. So we have a lot of nice program, and we encourage everybody to tune in. This is what we do out here. Grenada is in our heart, and we do everything for Grenada. We have a GoFundMe page. Because we try to work with the youths, the underprivileged youths, the youths in how you call that, Manjaloo, in the home up there, the home in Manjaloo where they have young kids and stuff like that. And last year we did some burials for these different homes. The Bacolet home,
right?
One in Manjaloo, I forget the name of it. But we send toys and stuff for them. We send everything. And we also happen to send 10,000 PPEs to Grenada.
Okay.
For the frontline workers. Yeah. We sent 10,000 masks and gloves. And that was last summer, before the summer, And so that's what we do, basically. We also work with a senior group here called Quebec Seniors Action. And we also donate to them. We do a lot of good things, man. Because it's non-profit.
And it's non-profit. And I'm really, really hope, and I promise you that outside of the festival itself, that we continue to make this engagement an ongoing one during the year. Yeah, so at least we get a chance to highlight and promote not just cultural elements of it, but just some of the humanitarian work that you guys are doing on the ground in Canada. So we can appreciate that when we hear about the diaspora, that we don't just think it's just guys, it's just they living, the big boys, but it's regular people as yourself, everyday people on the ground that is playing their part in making a difference. Mr. Cameron, I thank you.
Thank you very much, man. Much appreciated, brother.
12 minutes on to the hour of 12 o'clock. It is Classic 105.5 and 105.9 on the FM band. Reminding you that at the top of the hour, it's going to be the midday edition, a production of our News and Current Affairs Department. And for those of you that's here on Classic, the journey continues up until 12. For those of you that's on radio, on television, that is, I send you back to Master Control for your regular programming. Indeed, it was a pleasure being here with you as always, as as always. I'm leaving you for now. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning, though Saturday morning, the good Lord's willing, Saturday morning, where I'm going to wake you up at 6:30, and we're going to have ourselves a journey up until 10. Certainly making your Saturday morning. Continue to live life and love life, treating each day as though it's your last day on planet Earth. And when you've realized that you still haven't fulfilled your purpose, continue to search for that ultimate dream. But remember, life, it starts with you. You need to find your purpose, and then you would find the beauty in life with everybody in it, with everyone else that is around you. So long, everybody. JC loves you. I'm out of here. The midday edition comes up at the top of the hour. For those of you that is on Classic Radio 105.5 and 105.9 on the FM band. So long, everybody.